Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Hey Graham, how's it going? How are you? It's 100 degrees. I don't even know what the weather is, but I mean, so far so good. Hello, hello. Yeah, I hopefully my phone does not get too hot. I wonder if I fan it. Graham, yes, I did. I was sitting down on the couch watching a show, and my phone went into do not disturb, so I didn't hear any chimes or anything going off. I happened to look at my phone, and my niece had texted me like a minute before that asking if I wanted to go for a walk. So I was like, I looked at the time. I'm like, yeah, I need to. So we had fun. We had fun for going for a walk. I know my hair looked crazy. And then when we got back to my place, the 3-year-old, first of all, as we're getting close to my house, he's like, "Did you make dinner?" And then the 7-year-old, he's like, "When are we going to do the live? Can we do it now?" So we went ahead and did it. When someone has a headache. Oh, my hair was crazy, but I didn't have a headache. Thank the Lord. I don't get headaches unless like I have a cold and I'm all stuffed up. That's the only time I might experience a headache. But that is good to know. I did not know that. Hello, Mo Breeze. I'm doing good. How are you? Furious. Hello. I think I think that's like the second time you randomly put something, and I'm like, did anybody ask about that? But okay, so now I know you'll just put random info. Hello, Krista. Lively Cuts, how are you? How is everybody doing? Yeah, we'll see if my niece wants to go for a walk again tonight. I made a little short that we'll post this weekend because with kids, there's always excitement. Oh, thank you, Lively. Oh, he is so sweet. I like the little emoji. Thank you, Lively. Krista is almost going to sleep. She's tired. Mowbreeze is having fruit salad. Hello, Melora. Yeah, that is so cute, the emoji. Lively, yesterday, my niece and nephew, well, my niece came with her nephew so we could go for a walk. They like coming to my neighborhood and we take a walk. And after the walk, they insisted to come inside even though it was already late. And my little nephew had been wanting to do a live stream. He's been asking for like 2 weeks. So, yeah, we did the live stream last night. I have not babysat them in a while, but I used to. I used to babysit them quite often. But now they go to school. They like have preschool and they've got school, so yes. You know what? I'm gonna go inside because I feel like my phone's starting to heat and I don't want to. I hope you guys can't see my backyard. I don't want my phone to just stop working. So let's sit in here. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, once my phone like turns dark, I know that you guys get to see behind me. I know that it's gonna start to overheat. Whew. I was starting to get warm too. Okay, let me catch up on this. Yes, Kristen did chat. Okay, so the 7-year-old said he wants to have his own YouTube channel. Where's my other earring? I took it off because I took a nap, y'all. I was tired from last night. And then the 3-year-old, he said he wants to be a YouTube kid. He was too cute. Omar Plumber, welcome, welcome. Things do happen people can't even explain. Does it has to be this way? Is that a song? Hello, young Chavez. Yeah, Graham says he likes warm weather. Krista says I'm good too. Today was a bit colder, which was good. My apartment is so hot. Oh, good for you, Krista, then. Tony, hello, hello. I'm glad you made it. Tony made it into my morning chat. I'm glad to see you here. Omar said he roses too bombastic. It's heating up for Lively too. Emmanuel is here. Welcome, Emmanuel. How are you? I hear the kids in the front yard. The neighbors. Graham says hottest it got today was 18 degrees centigrade. Bossing needs to go to Ireland. Okay, who and what is in Ireland? Chris is saying hello to everyone. Lively Cuts, it's still raining here, but it's warming up. Hello, Omar saying hi to Krista. Oh, Ireland has the rain. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember that Disney movie? What was her name? She had the red hair. Wasn't it for Ireland? Oh, T-Mail doesn't like the Chicago weather. Tell us more about it, T-Mail. Oh, it doesn't want to know if it wants to be cold or hot. Graham says you don't use the word whilst in America, do you? I noticed that on yesterday's live stream. No, I don't. I don't know if anybody does, but I know I don't. And I'm like, how do I pronounce that? Omar says, lively cuts bless. Chris is saying hello to Omar. Omar says, grand peace. David says, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Hello today. The last 2 days of rain. The temperature 49 next week. It's Memorial Day weekend. 65 degrees. The leprechauns, Graham says. Boombastic says, no, I love it because of the countryside, the hills, and everything, but Switzerland is so beautiful and enchanting. Emmanuel says, good, I started to be busy now for the garden. Nice, Emmanuel. Omar says hello to T-Mill. Lively saying hello to Omar. Krista says the prince's name was Marita, I think, but can't remember the movie name. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, Krista. Omar says, is that where we plan to reside, Bostic? Omar is falling in love with Boombastic on here. Lively says, oh man, it's already almost June. Yes. Like 10, 11 days. 10 days. David says, the only animated cartoon I can think of from Disney. Strawberry Shortcake, and she had red hair and she wore a white dress. Was that Disney? I remember I had a Strawberry Shortcake, and I think I still have it. The little figurine. Yep, she had like a bonnet on. Okay, Kristen knows. Graham says you pronounced it fine. Oh, thank you, Graham. Bombastic, if you plan to take care of me, Omar. Timo says, what have I been missing, Vanessa? Well, I don't know if Boombastic has become a pretty regular, so she's new from Texas. I would say since the last time you were here. Graham's got a sugar mama. It's like his third girlfriend this year. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Graham. I mean, you freely have said it to us. I'm just updating Tony. Omar says, who wouldn't want Bastic? Don't try it. Omar likes to say that. Boombastic says, I still have my Strawberry Shortcake doll. Curly hair, and she still smells. Oh, you too? I have my first and only Cabbage Patch doll. Although I lost her original outfit. I have my shortcakes. I have my last Barbie. I kept it. I wanted a Barbie when I was 16 years old. I was like, this is going to be my last Barbie. Boombastic says, I bit her hair. Every now and then I lost my Strawberry Shortcake tights only. Graham, do older women really treat you better? What are you all wearing? Omar, you tell us first. Omar, tell us first. Oh, Graham says more feminine. That's exactly what he was looking for, because yeah, we all know how Graham's story. What? Mowbray says, I got my G.I. Joe action figure scene when I was a kid. Oh, cool. Boombastic says, one time I had a much older person try to give me the Lazy Boy recliner that says a lot. Homer says, Van, are you trying to insult my intelligence? Does she do everything for you like a grandma? No, you didn't, D-Mill. No, you didn't ask that way. Omar, I'm wearing a black shirt, blue jeans, and I got some sandals on. What are you wearing? Nobody has answered Omar's question. That's what I'm saying. Okay, guys, I'm going to go sit where I usually sit and get my earring. Oh my goodness. I I know I had it right here. Okay, I don't know where my earring went. I'll have to find it. Okay, I'll have to find my earring later. Yes, Omar, I turned my camera off. Boombasis has a muscle shirt on, some sweats, and my checkered shoes on. Mowbray says sweats, pants, and t-shirt, and my flops. Sweatpants, t-shirt. A hoodie and jeans for Lively. Chris has PJs. We all look good. Graham says, Timo, you don't know what you are missing. Omar, no, I'm not a muscle person, said Bombastic. Hello, Zach. Welcome to my live stream. I can bust a move. Like, I can put you on timeout real quick in the name of Jesus Christ. Be nice here. Be appropriate. Omar says, I heard you all, but guess what? I can't prove it. Omar, what are you wearing? Timo says, Graham, how much older are we talking? Boombastic says, Omar, it's too hot out here, and for 2 years already I've been using muscle shirts. Graham is laughing at Timo. 21 years difference. Boombastic says, Zach, we know that's not your body on your profile pic. Timo says, you don't have to rub Geritol on her sores. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Omar says my body's like an O. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that, Omar, but I'm going to share something that my cousin would say. She's single, never had a boyfriend. She's older than me, no kids. And she said, I don't know, there's like this question people ask, like, what is your shape or whatever? And she said, round. She's round. You said your body is like an O, so I'm thinking the same thing. Bombastic says, no, T, he puts band. Ben gay. Omar says, if you notice my DP pic. You don't have a picture, Omar. Bombastic says, never mind, Omar, we can't get married. Ground says, Timo, she's from Hong Kong and has never had kids. Oh, she doesn't have kids. Omar says, please, Bastic, please, you can't do that. Bombastic likes skinny guys. You don't like the O shapes. Timo says, Graham knows I'm happy for him. We go back, way back, like flats on a Cadillac. Omar says, Bostic, and remember what happened to World Trade Center. What is Omar talking about? Bostic says, I don't like apple-shaped men. Omar, remember you told us you were 350 pounds. But we don't want to go there, right? We don't want to go back to that day. Graham says Team Relay's all good. I'm just having fun with her anyway. Mowbray says Dr. Robotnik. Felix. What? He said all his fat resides in his cranium. And Omar says, let's go back, man. Boombastic says, then what shape are you, Omar? Omar says, memory is good to have. Well, unfortunately, I can't remember where you're from, Omar, and you choose not to tell us. You choose not to remind us. Boombastic says, you look like a buggy car, Omar. How is everyone enjoying, what is it, Wednesday? Where's my phone? Oh, left it back there. Felix. Oh, goodness. He's in great shape. And it's a pear shape. You do work out, though, right, Felix? I think you shared with us. Felix, have you, okay, since you're in a fairly new relationship, have you gained weight or did you lose weight? Felix is just playing. Timo says, I worked my behind off today, but I'm feeling good. All right. Bombastic says, Omar is built like, remember the big pencils in kindergarten? Omar says, let me go and get a drink. Okay. Yeah, the big pencils. The chunky pencils. Felix says, I've lost weight. Oh, look at that. Do you guys believe that when you're in love, you lose weight? I know in my own experience that's happened. You know, when you're first in a relationship, okay, Graham wants to know how, T-Mill wants to know how tall Felix is. Graham is saying, how come the brain knows that you forget something, though can't remember what you actually forgot? That is weird, right, Graham? Bombastic says, yes, when in love, I don't eat. T-Mill says, ask him because if you're 6 feet or above, that's a good weight. Omar says, really now, Bastic. Graham, I don't know if you're in love. I hear my kid. Adrian Rodriguez, hello. Felix says he's a short king. Omar says comfortable, right? Graham says this isn't a Disney movie. You know, since we can't actually see each other, at least knowing like what is your hair, well, and if you don't have a picture, it's like, what is your hair color? How tall are you? ¿Con quién está hablando, Omar? I don't know. Omar, what is comfortable? I think you may have been responding to your last message, Boombastic, when you said when you're in love, you don't eat. Is this the height series? Felix says, I may not be able to reach the top shelf. At least I don't have to duck inside the race. Graham says, I'm not willing to open up my heart like a Care Bear and get hurt. Oh. Be careful, babe.
I wanted 3.
I tried waking you up.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Oh. Well, you know I'm coming through.
My son is going to be over an hour late to work. I tried waking him up, y'all, but then I was like, you know what? That's his responsibility. Timo says he's 5'10", but I always pass for 6 feet. I'm only 189. How do you pass for 6 feet if you're 5'10"? Is it your shoes? Bombastic says, yes, Omar, I'm that tall. Mowbray says, let us know. Gabe says, hello, perfect smile. Bombastic, is there a difference between men and women in the weight, even if we're the same height? I think the difference is usually your shape. I think of men as being like more straight and women having curves. I mean, that's the only thing. That's the only difference. Omar says, I feel you, Bostic. Boombastic says, yes, he has to be responsible. Mowbray says, might as well not go to work. Omar says, it can Bostic, but only for some. Felix says, I'm on my way to getting chiseled. It's going to be nice to have abs again. Oh, you go, Felix. You go. Timo says, yes, my shoes always have given me extra inches. Graham is exactly 6 feet. Women carry the curves. Ray, hello, Ray W. Who's wearing lifters in their shoes? There's actors that do. Have you ever noticed when you watch the movies that the short actors sometimes have the tall shoes? Omar says, thumbs up to Van. Omar says, I like the way you articulate that, Van. Mombasa says, yes, they do that. I can't think of any. Or it's the camera angle. Like, if the guy is short and the girl is taller, they go behind the guy to try to make him look taller. Felix says, my shoes got like a 2-inch heel. He said, hey! Timo says, I do know Vanessa's 5'7" and a little piece of heaven. Oh, thank you. Mathematics says, can we see inside your refrigerator? No, but speaking of my refrigerator, last night my little 3-year-old great nephew, he was hungry. So I opened up and I got them carrots. I'm like, this is a cold, sweet little snack. And he's like, why is your refrigerator small or tiny? I don't know what his word was. Bostic is laughing, smiling at Felix, laughing. Gabe says, short actors like who? Boombasket says, I would have to hug my ex. I was taller than him. Graham says, yes, I'm not interested in skinny women. I like them curves. Boombastic says, I would hold him from behind. Oh my goodness. Omar says, Bostic, don't be like that. Okay, the short actors. Okay, for instance, I like watching this show called Revenge on Hulu. I've watched it like 3 or 4 times already. I enjoy that show for some reason. One of the actually the girl, the main character, she looks like she's tall. And so everyone around, all the guys around her, they have to like do a certain angle. Tom Cruise, yes, is definitely one of them. I didn't realize Kurt is short. T-Mill says, I agree, Graham. I ain't never met a good skinny chef. A woman definitely. I'll be right back because my child did not. He was in a rush. He did not close the door, right? Oh, goodness. And he left the screen door open. my phone at you guys. Sorry. Okay. Omar says, is there a preferred height or it doesn't really matter? Boombasic says, but he looked like Johnny Depp. Graham says, Felix, yep. I thought of Tom Cruise. And Graham says, T-Milf, great point. And then Felix says, old Tom Cruise be doing some crazy stunts like being a Scientologist. Well, somebody asked, is there a preferred height? For me, I do like to wear like 3 to, I don't know if I have 4-inch shoes, but I know for sure I have 3-inch that I'm very comfortable in. I at least want my guy to match my height or be a little bit taller when I'm wearing those shoes. Yeah. So that's my preference. But everybody is different. I've seen plenty of couples who the guy is taller. I mean, the guy is shorter. It's just personal preference. Omar, I think Miss Barb has been busy with life. Bombastic wants to see eye to eye. Timo says, as much as Tom immersed himself in his stunts in his career, he's never won an Oscar. I've never been a Tom Cruise fan, ever. Ever. All those Hollywood freaks are weird. Yep. I don't have any other examples, but yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. When they're short, they do a higher shoe, and it's camera angles. So if he's not taller, means no sense writing a resume. Correct, Omar. Okay, I figured out what Omar was writing, even though it's not written correctly. Oh, look at this. Omar, this is how you spell resume. Oh, but it's probably backwards. This is one of the best investments I ever bought. I bought resume paper, and I've had it for like 20 years or more. I was printing out, I think I told you guys that I wrote something special for my best friend's daughter. She's graduating this week. So I printed it out on the resume paper. Oh, Boombastic's taking a 2-hour drive. No phone service. Omer says, I hope I didn't shame myself. Timo says, I only love the white boys in Hollywood that I feel genuinely would get and be cool with black guys. Tom, Adam Sandler, guy from King of Queens, Jim Carrey. Who's Tom? Are you talking about Tom Cruise? I do like Adam Sandler. The guy from the King of Queens, is he the one that played Mall Cop? I do like him too. Jim Carrey's interesting. Omar, I'm not insulting you. I'm just letting everybody know that. Well, I'm also reading it to make sure I said it correctly. Hello, Lady Sky. Boombastic says, my boyfriend was Matthew McConaughey's. But then he started looking like a demon in the face. Omar says, when I was in school, I was sitting in the back of the class, so I didn't get to see all spelling correctly. Okay, Omar, if you read books, you would have had, and you still can. If you read books, I think it really helps your spelling, your vocabulary, your pronunciation. It expands your vocabulary. Graham says, hello to lady. Boombastic says, I don't like him anymore. I'm trying to think who is like my crush. I remember Keanu Reeves when he came out in that movie where he was on the train that was like going really fast with Sandra Bullock. When he came out on that movie, I was like, ooh, he became one of my crush. And then when I watched Pearl Harbor with Josh Hartnett, he became my crush, and he started showing up in movies here recently. He still looks really decent for his age. Have I been to Vegas? Yes, I have. A few times. Omar says, Bastic, I thought you were going in the Bible. T-Mail says, Jim Carrey started his career with black guys. Oh, on Saturday Night Live, wasn't it? Yes, Omar, why can't you ever answer our questions? You ask us questions, but you don't want to answer in return. Lady says, do you prefer chocolate or no chocolate in dessert making? Okay. When it comes to a dessert, I usually don't pick chocolate. But when it comes to candy, I do pick chocolate. Bombastic is mad with Omar. Lady says speed. Yes, that was the movie. That was the movie. Omar says, okay, Van, if you used Z instead of S in the word, which would sound more correct? I don't know. Depends on the word, I guess. Gabe says it was a bus, not a train. Oh, it was a bus. I was thinking about it, and I don't know why I imagined a train. At first, I was like, it was a bus. Johnny Depp. I like Johnny Depp movies, but I've never been attracted to him. T-Mel says, I love Speed. Keanu Reeves was a man in there. Yeah. Omar says, Basic, what's wrong now? What's up? Basic says, Omar, you beat around the bush. You never could answer our questions. All the other guys answer our questions. Yeah, I don't. Omar is very mysterious. Omar, were you born like around November? Is that your birthday? Sorry, don't have my glasses on. Bombastic said that. Gabe says movie is called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down. Omar says, I'm looking for your question. Okay, Omar, there was 2 questions. What are you wearing? How tall are you? Those 2 questions today, but you've not answered several questions in the past. Timo says, my all-time crushes were Topanga. Oh, yeah, she's pretty. Boy Meets World. Lark Marie, Saved by the Bell. Oh, yes, I remember her. And Kelly Bundy. Speaking of Saved by the Bell, mine was Slater. Omar is saying he is. Does anybody know that sign? I don't know. No. Lady Sky thinks the sexiest Hollywood actor is George Clooney. Oh, I've never been a George Clooney fan either. I'm like, what is so hot about him? But you know what? Good for you, lady. See, that just shows that we all have different tastes. So there is somebody for everyone. Bombastic says, put your hand down, Omar. Do you still think he's handsome, Lady Sky? George Clooney. Yes, today there was 2 questions. If I missed any, you guys put in the chat. And Graham says, Hive Mind. If they were not famous and rich, you wouldn't get them a second look. Ladies, guys, this is a slow ER, Vanessa. Remember that show. The show ER. I'm thinking. Dave says, do you know what Screech from Saved by the Bell did? A movie he made later. I kind of remember, but the details are not coming to my mind right now. Boombastic says, I haven't seen him lately. Timo says, you were in love with Slater, Vanessa. Yes. I like dimples, you guys. I go for dimples. Boombastic says, you know who would have been a sexy man as he got older? Kenny Rogers. It is interesting to see, like, the people who were older to us, to see what do they look like when they were young. Omar likes Wonder Woman. It was in the 90s. I don't think I was into those kind of shows back then. I am now, but I don't think I was into that back then. Timo says, what about Zach? Women loved him. He was all right. This is what my mom would say when there was somebody like blonde hair and light complected. She would say, he needs some salt, he needs some pepper or something like that. I was like, okay, Mom. Mario Lopez is cute with dimples. Yes. Somebody got plastic surgery. Who did? Oh no, when they put the piercing on, that's a no for me. See, that's a turn off for me, but that's what you like, Bombastic. Have you got dimples, Bostic? Bostic says Kenny Rogers get. Oh, he got plastic surgery. I did see that. Yeah. I'm trying to think of my real life crushes, you guys. Okay, one of my first crushes, he was actually my aunt's neighbor because she was my babysitter, so I would be at their house like every day after school. And then I would see him. They had moved in probably when I was in 7th junior high. And I always had a crush on him. And guess what, y'all? He had a crush on me too. So we did date. He was like the first boyfriend that I actually chose. Because my first boyfriend, my mother chose for me. And he was the first one that I chose. Boombastic had a crush on a few teachers. Omar says, my love just cried out. My heart just cried out. Graham says, mine was Kelly Brook. Gabe, yes. She's like, you need to go out with this boy or you're going to be grounded. Like, my mom was very controlling and she was serious. But I wouldn't say it was a relationship. It was more like dating. And we dated for about 6 weeks. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I ended it. We never kissed. I don't even think I ever held his hand. Well, we had to because he invited me to his senior prom. So I think we danced a few times, so I would have had to hold his hand. Timo says there's tons of actors that didn't age well. Who y'all feel went too far? I'm going to start with the late, great Michael Jackson and Pam Anderson. Yes, I was like, Michael should have never touched his face. Oh, that was so upsetting. And Pam Anderson, they showed her at some recently. I don't know what event. Yeah, she doesn't look good. Graham is saying, I bet you like Kelly Brook. Bombastic says Michael Jackson went too far. Yep. Gabe says you were just trying to stick it to mom by dumping him, weren't you? I couldn't do it, Gabe. I am not fake. Like, I tried to get to know him, to try to like him, to find something. I couldn't do it. I was like, enough is enough. Oh, T Mail looked up Kelly Brook. I don't know who she is, but if your store has them, buy them along with mint chocolate chip ice cream, York peppermint candy, and the hard peppermint candy. I'm not really big on peppermint, Lady Sky. I like my peppermint tea, but I'm not really into peppermint candies and stuff. But what are you making something with peppermint? I will take the peppermint at Olive Garden. Y'all, I'm not leaving that candy behind. After you pay for the meal you pay for, yes, I'm taking my free peppermint. Bombastic says, like I said before, this white guy was going to propose to me, but I would have been. I was going to have to protect him. Bombastic says, I couldn't be fake. Graham says, Hannah Barron. Oh, that's the one you've told me before, Graham. Lady Sky, I'm not gonna waste my money because I know pretty. If I don't like it, I'm gonna be very upset. Boombastic says around his guy friend, he was all talkative. Tori's spelling looks horrific. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Who else? Who else? I'm trying to think myself. Lady says if your store has the Klondike mint bars. I'll take the regular Klondike bars, but not mint. Graham says at least I've got taste. Lady says you will like this dessert. Perfect for summer. Hello, Emma. It's good to see you again. Oh, okay. I got a good one, you guys. Have you watched the movie Dirty Dancing? And the main actress, she had a nose job. Like, it totally changed her look. And it's like, I wish she would have never done that. Am I the only one that never really admire an actor? Apparently so, Omar. Lady says you can't do the regular ones, you gotta do the mint ones, Vanessa. Grandma says I ain't watching that. T-Mail says I never really had any real life childhood crushes, but I did used to challenge myself by knowing my older sister and dated a couple of her friends. Oh no. Boombasa says, Omar, you didn't have. See, Omar still hasn't answered the questions. Gabe has only seen Havana Nights. And Omar says, Basti, don't try it. Oh, he didn't have a TV. I went for a minute. Van. Okay, so now you can answer the questions. I'm still thinking on Tony's question. What was the question? What are you wearing, Omar, and how tall are you? Gabe says stop. Um, Emma, what is that emoji? Omar is 5'9". Okay, now what are you wearing, Omar? Emma, my morning was beautiful. It was great. Are you still in school, Emma? Or is school over? Gabe says basic, you, the ringleader. Okay, Omar's not sure. He's 5'9" or 5'10". Okay. Okay, back to T Mill's question. I think the Kardashians. Anyone who has a BBL, they have done that. They went too far. Omar says I haven't checked in years, but it's there. And Emma says I have a minimum. Oh, so you had like half the day. Oh, okay. Yeah. My son went to a school where every Wednesday was half day. How about Bruce Jenner? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was very upset about Bruce too. That has to be so awkward. I mean, maybe that was normal for them. Maybe they because they do all kinds of surgery anyways. But oh no. Bombastic says that was crazy, but you could tell he was turning. Well, I remember he had a facelift when I used to watch the show. I stopped watching it at some point. Oh, he does. Emma. So we've got two Emmas in here, right? Emma's Art and Emma. Graham says, "What's he gonna do about his chromosome?" Emma, have fun coloring. Thank you for coming on to say hello. BBL. Wow. That's what they're called, right? But yes, have a good night, Emma. Timo says the BBL crap has been way left. Yeah, it does not look normal at all. It does not look right at all. I'm like, what? How do you think? Why do you think you look good? Like you made yourself look worse, if anything. Mm-mm-mm. Well, I guess there are some people who have it more very natural, but I think that's rare. Most cases they do an extreme and it looks horrible. My day was good, Emma. How about yours? Why do you want your dish to be the size of an F-150? Oh my gosh. All I know, you guys, is I have a big tish naturally, and I don't like it. But that's the way Lord made me. But it's what's trending. Hope you know that. It's been trending for a little too long. The more natural, the better. Do you got curves back? Oh, look at Omar wants to ask the question. See, but he's not answering. She put capital. A perfect example, Gabe, of why what's going on is going on. Omar says, I've realized, Van, that's only what's trending. You'll see at the moment. Another thing that's trending is the fake eyelashes. Oh my goodness. And the fake hair. I've never had any fake hair. I've attempted the fake lashes, but before I walk out the door, I end up just taking them off. Are there any trends that guys are doing? Omar, when one loses weight, you lose things. He used to have cuts, but they slide her down now. Wait a minute. There are men who are doing the same things. I haven't seen any myself, but maybe they're not in my feed for social media. I remember when guys started to do their eyebrows. That was weird. When they would go and get their eyebrows shaped or whatever. Omar says, don't try it. Graham says, bombastic. Yep, I had a big girlfriend, though. By the time I was done with her, she was skinny. All that exercise. You know what? That's what I need. I need a husband who's going to work out with me, go for walks with me, cook with me, grocery shop with me. I do believe a man should look manly too. Yep. Omar says, you know already, man and woman have a lot of unisex between both. Yes, Gabe. Fruity. Definitely. That was the first thing I started to notice in society. But now, Vanessa, read in between the lines of what Graham said. I don't know. Did I just read it wrong? Okay, I know what he said. I know what he said now. But anyways, I'm not taking back what I said. I still want what I said. Oh my goodness. Okay, who is on here making dinner? Or who already had dinner? Basic's laughing, Graham saying. Omar says that's a big issue, Bastic, as people keep saying they have choice. I don't really think it's a choice by them. I think it's a choice based on having an agenda. Remind me what Omar's talking about. Timo says, I've stated before the only trend that I feel men have taken upon themselves is a whole man purse thing, which we've talked about before. Yes, we have. Omar says, I even seen some women going to gym and I was like, what the heck? What are you talking? Okay, what was wrong with the women going to the gym, Omar? I've been to the gym. I went a few years ago. It was my first time like being serious and going consistently, but I haven't been back. Omar says I don't see the reason going to the gym till I do the survey. What's the survey? Boombastic says, Omar, we are grown here. I'm lost weight and I lost a lot of. Oh, goodness, Boombastic. Some people, I guess, depends on what you eat. Like maybe you need protein or something, and then you can do certain kind of exercises to reshape your body. I'm not there yet. Omar says, Bass first you were saying men are too feminine, and I was saying that's true. Oh, goodness. Mm. Yeah, I don't want a gay man. I don't want a man who doesn't want to get dirty, like doesn't want to do yard work, doesn't want to fix, I don't know, the sink when it's plugged, who doesn't know how to change a tire. I don't know how to change a tire, you guys. Um, Omer says, have you seen the type of people that are going to the gym these days? Um, I live in a small like city where I don't really see what the world is experiencing. Graham says me feminine, whatever. Gromer says some of them got an agenda by going to the gym, not that they are gym needed. Look at this, they've matched like perfectly. I just now noticed that the shades are exactly the same. Game says, neither do you want a man who always takes pictures of his food in a restaurant. Yep. Very true. Very true. T-Mill says, I'm so tired. Boiling water will burn. I'm going to grab dinner from Chipotle. Good for you, T-Mill. Omer says, that's not fear, Van. A man to love him for what he can only. But I can get what you're saying. You know, people always, I think there's a saying like you marry someone like your father, or if you're a man, maybe you marry someone like your mother. And my dad did everything, y'all. There was nothing my father could not do. He couldn't fix, he couldn't figure out. And he was definitely Mr. Macho Protect. He was definitely the protector. Boombastic says, I want a man that's going to protect me, love me, hold me in his arms, my protector and provider. Amen, Boombastic. Yes, and that is hard to find. It is so hard to find. Okay, I'm going to just throw this out there, okay? Unfortunately, I have been with men who smoke weed. A man who smokes weed cannot protect, and cannot provide. I don't care what anyone says. I experienced it. Eli says, I'm busy right now with my new Rottweiler. Oh, I'm glad you've got your puppy and you're enjoying him. Jesus loves you and God bless you all. Thank you, Eli. Same to you. Omar says, do you observe love comes from any angle? Is that a show, Omar? Boombastic says, Gabe for real, taking pic of food on the phone like a feminine female. Omar says, what more would you want, Basic, more than the basic? Graham says, women have a long list of what they want, though. What are they bringing to the table? Omar says, and from the basic, it leads to upper growth. Team Mill says, Vanessa, if a man ever commented on your tush in a flirty way, but respectful and asked for your number, what would happen? Oh my goodness. Why am I ignorant, Omar? Omar says, please be more polite about that phrase. Dave says he smokes weed every day. Bassa says, I'll get the right woman, you'll get a virtuous woman and not a 304. T-mail, if it's done respectfully, and depending on maybe the whole situation, like where are we, what is he wearing, how tall is he? He might get my phone number. Graham says lots of women can't even cook nowadays. They're always getting takeaways. Okay, the reason I'm saying that they can't protect and provide because this is my experience. When you're high, you forget to lock the dang door. You might leave the whole garage door open. You leave the doors unlocked. You might leave the sliding door completely open. Like, this is my experience, okay? That's why I think a man cannot provide. Like, it's so simple, just lock up. And you're going to be so high, if something was to happen, you're not in your right mind to protect. That's my thing. Plastic. What am I not being polite about? Can you guys help me out here? Bostic locks the doors. Gabe says Vanessa smackable tish or not. What? I don't know what that means. That question is, Gabe. Omar says, Van, explain your reasons, but don't say as you are only one person. Yeah, this is all my perspective. This is my point of view. Exactly. And everyone else is putting in the comments what their point of view is. Graham has had enough. Bombastic says, what do you mean you're not being polite? You're being polite. Gabe says, before the phone numbers. Omer says, they may not can help you, Van, as maybe they don't understand me either. They probably can't. Omer, you're right about that. Omer says, that's why I said be more polite. I don't know what I'm being unpolite about. If I am, please tell me. Someone else. Bombastic is laughing at Graham. And they can't provide, okay, back to the weed subject, because if they get a random drug testing, they're going to fail it. So then there is no job, no providing. Omar says, Bastic, let me explain a bit. Bastic says, Omar doesn't know what he's talking about. Why did it, we were talking about, in general, we want a man that can provide and protect. That's how we got to that subject. Okay, Omar thinks maybe he was using the wrong word. Okay, I guess my son didn't get fired. He's still, let me see if he's actually at work. Let me look at his location. Excuse me. Yeah, he's still at work, so I guess he didn't get fired. Graham wants a woman that can cook and be feminine. Yep. I think your nephew will be a good YouTuber. Omar says, okay, let's say I was with a narcissist. Narcissist comes in many forms, so not because she was, I can't just, I wouldn't be with one of that caliber, but. Hello, Michael. How are you? Bombastic is a tomboy, not. Okay, Gabe says Graham, who always says yes to the. Oh my goodness. Omar says, because I know what I'm saying, maybe not explaining it right like Van just did. Bombastic says, Omar, you want to talk when you beat around the bush. When you're one to beat around the bush. Omar, I have not heard. He's stuck on the weed smoking, apparently. I haven't met one yet. I am not. Timo says, I genuinely feel that this is not the 1950s. Women these days are much more intelligent, have more career goals. My woman doesn't have to wait on me hand and foot. If she cooks, I'm definitely cooking. And he'll do laundry too. Okay. Bombastic says, Omar, we can't even get what country you're from. You know what? My son is so used to being waited on that hopefully he finds a woman who will cook for him, wash his clothes, and all that good stuff. Clean. That's how I was raised, y'all. My brothers got spoiled and I did the housework with my mom. So I continue that with my child. I'm thinking Omar is a smoker himself. I think he's trying to argue with me that I said a smoker can't provide or protect. Graham. Okay, Omar says it's not necessary as to be a weed smoker, just any random bad habit. Bombastic said Graham's on a roll. Yes, that's normal for Graham. Graham does not mess around. Very true. We don't want to talk about the first person he blocked. But I think he has unblocked her. Omar says it's hard to really say what people want as what people want. Sometimes you think that's what they mean when they're not. Okay, let me give you a background on Omar. He said he's never been married because he doesn't know what women wants. Right, Omar? That's what you told us one time. Gabe said Bombastic is down. It's why she wants to talk. And Graham... Okay, Graham shared with his first person he blocked. It was Krista. But he unblocked her, I do believe. Omar says, okay, look at it this way, Bastic. Yeah, I don't know what Gabe's talking about either. He thought she was a feminist. She was so upset too. She's like, "What did I say to do that?" Omer says, "Let's say I met 4 women and I asked them what they want. They all uses one word, what they want, okay?" Gabe says even women don't know what women want. Omer, they are not as easygoing as men. Graham says she said she was one. And then Mubasik says, what word did they use? Not you. Oh, I think I read Bombastic's right. So this is what I'm imagining. Omar is asking him, the woman, what do you want? And Bombastic saying their response is, not you. Oh my gosh. Goodness. Omar says, but when you ask them each what they want, they all said comfort. But asking them, you get a different way of comfort. Graham says, it's in the past now, we get along fine. Yes, amen to that, Graham. Graham and Krista get along just well. Just fine. Okay, Omar, that's because everybody is different. And going to give you a different answer. Omar says, Gabe, I've realized that based on my survey. I don't know what Omar talks about surveys all the time, and he talks about brainstorming. Timo says, I grew up in a culture where commenting on a woman's behind is not necessarily that disrespectful if you do it in a respectful manner. How would you feel if someone approached you like that? But respectfully. I don't think I've ever had that happen. But I will tell you my first situation, and it made me highly self conscious when I was in 4th grade, was the first time a boy ran behind me and smacked my butt and just kept running, you know? Then I became very self conscious about my bottom. But I don't think anyone has done what you're saying, T Mill. So I really don't know how I would react, but if it's respectful, I mean, I guess it would be like a, what do you call it? An icebreaker? Okay, Bombastic says, Omar, it's like if you ask 100 times the same question, each one is going to give you a different answer. Omar says, yes, different answers with the same words until. Graham says, Bombastic, you're wasting your energy on Omar. And Bombastic says, Graham, based on my survey, I kind of figured that a long time ago. And now it's just entertainment, right? Bombastic. Timo says, there is ways to approach a woman and be like, yeah, I've never had that happen to me. Okay, this is what I know of when guys have approached me, okay? Um, they usually just say, maybe they say, I like your smile. Can I have your number? Or if they've been hanging around me, they're like, I like your personality. I want your number. Um, or they're like, I think you're beautiful. Can I have your number? Those are the lines I've had. Graham says, Bombastic, you needed a survey. Omar says, it's thanks, Graham. Bombastic says, Graham, unfortunately, yes. And Graham is laughing at Bombastic. I'm a grown woman, not a puppet. And I've told many men, no, you can't have my number. Because I didn't want to waste their time or give them any hope. When I was not interested, Bombastic says nobody puts baby in the corner. I was just talking about that movie. Hello, Life of Aria. How are you? Okay, Omar is asking, is he a puppet? No, you're not a puppet because at least a puppet would answer to the questions. I'm glad you're doing good, Aria. Is school over yet or are you still in school? Graham says he's a Muppet. For sure. Timo says Omar is getting the flex in the chat. Omar, go order a hot dog and chill, says T-Mill. Omar, you said that you are a moderator in other channels. Do you have the same conversation in other channels? Omar said he'll excuse himself. Well, he's gonna leave, and we still don't know what he's wearing. At the very least. Timo says, "Get a shake with those fries, Omar." Okay, Timo, since you're talking about what is it, a glizzy, are they good there in Chicago? Omar, are you a plumber? Depends on how cool the chat or person is. And Graham says, "Oh no, if Omar leaves, I will lose sleep." Oh yeah, because Omar was saying that he's not really this way in real person or something like that. In real life. Bombastic says Omar is wearing an outfit like Urkel. Omar is a plumber. Okay. Omar the plumber. Hello, Abigail. How are you? He, yeah, Omar is saying, did I do that? Oh, you need some prayer, Abigail? Graham, I don't think I'm going to read that since he probably can't see it anyways. He says, forget that too. There's a lot of choices for hot dogs. Yes, Abigail, please share, and whoever else in the chat would like to pray for you, they will. So they know what they're praying for. Boombastic says, I told y'all he was a plumber. I won't say anything, but yeah, good catch on that, Boombastic. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. Neither of you can spelled it correctly. Oh goodness. Okay, so Omar won't feel like I'm just picking on him. Oh, that's also his last name. So I take that back. Abigail says my friend was mad at me and yesterday she called me. Abigail, only you can change your mind. You got to seek Jesus Christ, who's the truth and the way to everlasting life. And don't, who cares what people might call you? You need to like shake that off because life is hard. Okay, Omar did write it correctly. But yes, I will pray for you that you realize that you are worthy. And it doesn't matter what people say about you, Abigail. Timo says, Vanessa Plummer, I'm on the floor. Lady says, did you find the Klondike mint bars yet? Lady Sky, I haven't been to the store. I've stayed right here. I'm not going to buy it. Okay, I'll tell you what, Lady Sky. If I find them individually sold, I might consider. But I'm not going to buy the whole box and then not like it. Boombastic says, blame it on the school system. Omer says, sorry about that, Abby. And Graham says, Abigail, that is not your friend. True, not your friend. That's good advice. Boombastic says, Abigail, no one can make you change your mind on your God. Only God could change you and help you. Omer says, I'm going through the same thing in the chat. Abby. Omar can relate. And Lady says they come in a package of 6. Omar says, just take it easy. Avoid her if needs be. Abigail says, no matter how hard I try, it keeps coming back. The thoughts of wanting. Why, though? I'm just curious, Abigail, why? You think nobody cares? You know who does care? God does. He created you wonderfully. He created you for a purpose. And it might be a storm right now. There might be a struggle, but you've got to stay strong and firm and be bold and courageous. And know that this shall pass. Lady is adamant about me trying the mint Klondike bar. Look, Omar says he's still trying. Boombastic says, Abby, how old are you? Lady says, see if your store app has them. I'm sure they do, Lady, but I'm not buying it. If it's the whole box. Omar says, "You're welcome, Abby." And Van, "That's ignorant." What is ignorant, Omar? Okay, this is what I'm gonna say to you, Omar. If you say I'm ignorant, like, please be a little more detailed. Explain why you think I'm ignorant. Abigail says, "Because I straight up told my friend I don't want stuck in the middle of the drama between her and the other friends." Graham says, "This is a cruel world. Sometimes must stay strong." Boombastic says, "Abby, man up." Abigail says, "Boombastic, I am 15." Omar says, "God put us here to first care for one for him," says the book. Timo says, "Comments such as that is why Vanessa is special, y'all." Aw, thank you, Timo. Boombastic says, "You don't need those type of people around you. Ignorant is lack of knowledge." Lady is upset because I'm not going to look up the Klondike bar. Omar says, "I am detailing Van. Don't take it literally." I still need details, Omar. Okay, I think he's saying he's going to type it in. You need to have time. Like, I don't know if you know Jesus Christ. Abby, I'm going to call you Abby. I don't know if you know Jesus Christ, but this could be the moment for you to get a Bible, open it up, read it, pray, and you're going to find the strength. And you're going to overcome whatever words are coming your way, whatever is happening. And you're going to be okay. Don't dwell on that. Dwell on Jesus. And this whole situation makes things worse because I lost my grandfather and dog recently. Okay, Abigail, this is another way to look at it. Know that your grandfather is no longer in pain, no longer worrying, no longer struggling. This world is awful. It's temporary, but it's awful. And maybe, like, I do like having my live streams because for a few minutes, maybe an hour, I have a nice time, a good time. And then when I'm out in the world, y'all, it is harsh. So you got to look on the other side and pray that he is in heaven. I mean, that's just my opinion, you guys. You guys can add whatever you want. Gramps says that's a sly way of Omar calling me dumb. Omar says, "If we don't care for one first before the Father, it's be hard, don't you think?" Bubasik says, "I don't know, I'll just stay quiet. I'm not going to comment on Abigail no more." Okay, Omar, it says that we should put God first. Put God first. I think you've got it twisted, Omar. Boombastic says it's one thing if people are speaking truth, but if people are making up things just for attention, that's wrong. Yeah, Timo says, "I've been working so hard, Vanessa, because I haven't been comfortable becoming a landlord." Ooh, yeah. So you're doing your rent and paying your mortgage is what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's uncomfortable for sure. I think it becomes uncomfortable when you lived in the home, but if you bought it and just rented it out from the beginning, it wouldn't have been uncomfortable. Abigail says, "What are you talking about, Boombasti?" And Timo says, "I'm still taking care of the mortgage in Seattle." Yep. Omar says, "Help me find this word, please. What do you call someone who responds for a child? Responsible? A guardian, a parent, usually a guardian." Omar says, "Bostic, I think you're reading my mind. I'm just not saying it out." Guidance. Okay, so Omar still, He's still good with you, Bombastic. Yeah, who's your guardian? I think is what Omar is asking. Or your mentor. Okay, so Bombastic and Omar are still on good terms. Well, so I'm talking to T-Mail right now. Your sister, you said, would help you take care of that other house. So do you have you started to receive applications and like look into the background, the history, contact references? I got that experience now because I'm working at an apartment complex. I have to do all of that, y'all. It's a lot of work. Abigail says, "Why would I lie?" And Omar says, "Abby, who's your guardian?" Omar doesn't get upset. Okay. Graham says, "Bombastic loves Omar." Timo says, "One of the traits that I love about what I'm seeing in Omar is he's still here standing on business." Yeah, that's true. Abigail says, "My mom and stepdad." And her real dad hasn't been around since she was 4. I'm laughing at T-Bill. Yeah, after all of this, Omar still comes back. Graham says, "Stop typing in all caps. So annoying." Yeah, how do you stay in caps on a cell phone? Let me see. Isn't it only like the first letter would be caps? Omar says, "I'm easy to deal with as a human. When you see we can't get along, you know you've gone past 26 letters of the alphabet." And Boombastic says, "I can't say what I really want to say." All right. Well, in general, yes, I will be praying for you, Abigail. But we did give you words of advice in the meantime because you do have to put your own work in. It's not just prayer, you've got to do some work yourself for the situation. Oh, you double tap. Okay, I learned something new. Mahakal is here. Okay, Timo says, "Yes, I looked at 2, but I'm uncomfortable because they have been families that probably are expecting longer terms." Oh, okay. So maybe if there's some kind of advertisement email, make sure you do put that it does have an end date. That way there is no problem. Bombastic lives in silence. Omer says, "Mean with you, Abby." Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to assume what Omar just typed. So hopefully he responds. Omar says, "I live in silence." And Omar says, "Stop reading my mind." Graham. Oh my goodness, Graham. I think Omar's last comment was too bombastic. Yeah, you have to just keep up with all the comments. It can be confusing. Omar says, "Was asking Abby what's the relationship with you, Abby, and your mom." I mean, there has to be somebody, Abigail, that you can trust and talk to in person. Timo says, "I'm definitely moving back home into 26 if it's the Lord's will." Oh, so that's like a year and a half. Have you been back home yet, T-Mill? Omer says, I was saying if you're close with mom, then you could maybe say to her, depending on your problem. Graham. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I think it's 3, Graham. Boom Plastic's gonna eat meatloaf. Abigail says, yeah, no, she doesn't understand and thinks I'm crazy. What is today, Wednesday? I don't know why I keep forgetting to make tacos on Taco Tuesday. What should I make for dinner? See what I mean about don't make me a moderator. Exactly. T-Mill says not yet. I'm definitely going Thanksgiving for sure. Oh, good. I'm glad. Goulash, chili. See, those are things I would make if it was cold. Spaghetti. You know what? I have everything for spaghetti and I haven't made it in a long time. My son would appreciate that. BLT. I do like BLTs. Land Day. What is that, Graham? Land Day. I might have tacos. My son doesn't like tacos, though. I'll be having pumpkin takari with rice. That sounds fancy. Abigail says I had pork chops and macaroni. That sounds good. Timo, what did you get from Chipotle? Graham says Thanksgiving, thanks for letting us steal your land. Oh, I should have known. I should know that by now with Graham. Bastic isn't beef. Timo says huge bowl of spaghetti sounds fire. And then I would make some homemade, like just get toast and butter it and add garlic and Italian seasoning. For my son, I would skip on the bread. Yes, I do eat pork. Bacon, sausage, pork chops, ribs, carnitas. I think those are the 5 main pork that I eat. Graham says straight to the point. Hello, John. Thank you, John, for your concern. Omar does not eat pork. Timo says didn't go yet, but gonna grab a bowl with the new honey chicken. Wait a minute. Okay, this is what I usually get when I haven't tried that at Chipotle. I eat that at Panda Express. But I did start to make it at home myself. And it is so good. John says that's what God wants. And Omar says, as the book said, shouldn't. Graham says, John Smith, use a real name. Okay, I'm guessing Bombastic is not here. She's been very quiet. There she is. Omer says, is that correct? As far as I know, the book says we can eat whatever we want. I don't know. Someone else can tell me different. That all the animals were here for us. And that everything that goes in our mouth is cleansed in the name of Jesus Christ. So I'm not sure. Oh, now it's number 4. Oh my goodness. John says there are things that are not in the book that you have to decide yourself. Okay, give us an example, John. I'm really curious. I'm really curious to know what that is. Omar is telling me if I say so. Yeah, that's what I recall from the Bible, but someone can definitely put in there what it should be. I need to find my other earring because these have become my favorites. But I know I was sitting on the couch and I took my earring off. The Bible never talks about morality in business. I'm pretty sure there is scripture. Bombastic says, John, I bet you walk on your tippy toes still. Oh my goodness. Omer says, yes, you're 100% right. It talks about doing your part, having agreements. It talks about giving to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. It talks about returning things better than they were. Of course, to be honest. So there's a lot said in the Bible. John, that's not nice, bud, but men that comment on women's weight is very weak move. Thank you, Team Mill. Graham says John cries when sent to the naughty corner, and Mumbasic says it talks about not stealing. That's another thing, yes, you can apply to business. Omer says, Bastic, you're killing me, and I can't defend it. Boombastic says you give people their honest weight. John says something to think about. Omer says not stealing, but the book said there's time for everything. Yep, that's in Ecclesians or something like that. Ecclesiastes. It's one of my favorite sections. If that's you as a person, Bastic. I'm going to pull that up. Yes, in the Bible it says nothing under the sun is new. That's why you can find Every answer you need in the Bible. Graham says bombastic, yep, nothing new under the sun. Bombastic says, what, Omar? What are you asking? Omar says, yes, ecclesiastical. I think it's chapter 14. T-Mail says, John, who made you in Einstein? Barney, Bozo, or you? The student. Graham says, bombastic, still struggling with Omar. I don't know why this isn't showing me all of it. Anyways, yeah, it's in there. Oh, it's chapter 3. A time for everything. Bombastic says her patience is wearing thin. Graham says T-Mill, my money is on Barney. Omar says, and Deuteronomy 10. Mahakal says, I love your closet. Omar says, Bastic, are you sure about that? T-Mill says he needs the I love you song. Omar says, nothing is new under the sun. Mahakal says, I love your closet. Mahakal, what do you look like? How tall are you? What are you wearing? How old are you? Graham says T-Mill. He's laughing. Omar says, okay, yes, that's chapter 3. Yeah, I remember I did a video on that years ago because someone had passed away. There was a few people that had passed away that I knew pretty well. And so I decided to record that. Okay, in chapter 3, it's talking about pork. Graham. Oh my goodness. Omar says, do you really believe nothing is new under the sun? Do you believe that? Yes. The Bible talks about alcohol, it talks about drugs, it talks about working, it talks about family, it talks about raising children, it talks about singing, it talks about obviously good versus evil. It talks about eating right, fasting. I mean, what do you think is not in the Bible? Graham says my target is to get into the double figures tonight. Oh my goodness. I think it'll be possible. Let's see how long we can go live so Graham can hit double digits. Omer says Adam didn't get a get a boat. Noah never had a bike. Um, there was transportation in the Bible in general. Timo says Omar philosophers are all around the world, many different races, etc. All agree the Bible always comes around full circle. Yep, it talks about everything. Graham says lots of red pills in the Bible. Boombastic says I'm on my way to drive. Okay, so you're gonna be out, Boombastic. Be safe wherever you're going. Omar says yes, but it didn't break down to its purest form to really understand the breaking down. I think it does, Omar. Graham says, okay, Boombastic, take care. Boombastic needs a phone. Oh, yes, you need to be extra careful with no phone on the road for that long of a drive. You know, Omar, when there's something you don't really understand, but it is in the Bible, I believe that God will send you the exact person, or even if it's a live stream or post, like a social media post, He will send the right person for you to understand whatever it is that you need in your life. Omer says that's what I'm saying, Van. The word transportation is there, but it didn't detail it, and that's why Smith said certain things we have to figure out. I think he's long gone, Omar. Omar says, Basic, don't leave. He said, don't leave. He said, don't leave me, hun. Oh, the Bible talks about builders too, building. Like Nehemiah, he was the great builder. Graham says Omar loves Boombastic. Now that is Love is Blind because he has not seen her. Timo says, I'm not disrespecting any religion or anything. If you take every religion, put them side by side, the pros and cons, break everything down, fact, fiction, whatever, that the Holy Bible still comes out on top. Amen. Yes, see ya, Bombastic. Be safe. Thanks for hanging out with us. Omer says, so each format of life shows us how transportation expands. Yep. Yes. Is my answer. How long have I been sitting here? I need to get up. I need to get up and step. T-Mill, do you do video chats with your family? Anybody there? Anybody still there? You know what? I could make my son spaghetti, but make myself kind of the same thing, but instead of pasta, use cauliflower because it's healthier. Okay, Grandma's still here. Timo says, I'm still here. I know you're probably going to end soon when you, and that's when I'll probably go get my dinner. Omer says that's also a way of breaking down transportation in simple form by Graham saying, I love Bastic. You said it's blind, which is true, but it's the format of how it transpires. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. I think I understand. Yeah, it is probably a good time for me to leave too. When I start like getting tired of sitting down or whatever, that's my cue to end. So I'm gonna leave it at here, you guys, so you guys can enjoy your dinner or whatever it is that you're doing. Thanks for hanging out with me. I shall see you next time. I send you peace, love, but know that Jesus Christ, He loves you the most. See you guys. Take care.